Most people want to build wealth. They work hard, save what they can, and hope that eventually things will get easier. But wealth doesn't appear suddenly or by luck. It develops in phases, and each one builds on the last. The process is slower than most people expect, but that's also what makes it real. There are three main stages of building wealth, and while almost everyone enters the first one, very few ever make it to the last. Understanding what each stage looks like and what separates them can completely change the way you think about money and progress. Let's break down each stage, what it looks like, what holds people back, and how to reach the final level where your money finally starts working harder than you do. The first stage is survival and stability. This is where everyone starts. The goal here isn't to get rich, it's to stop struggling. In this stage, your main objective is to create control over your finances. You're learning to manage income, reduce unnecessary expenses, and build a small cushion that protects you from emergencies. Most people in this stage are still working paycheck to paycheck, and money feels tight. Every dollar has a destination: rent, food, transportation, or debt repayment. Saving or investing might seem distant because survival comes first, but this stage is where the foundation for wealth begins. You cannot grow wealth if you're constantly one unexpected expense away from financial stress. The first step towards stability is gaining awareness of where your money goes. Budgeting, even in its simplest form, helps you identify what's essential and what isn't. It's not about restricting yourself. It's about making room to breathe financially. For many, this means paying off high-interest debt, building an emergency fund worth a few months of expenses, and developing a basic savings habit. The amounts may be small, but what matters is consistency. Even saving $50 or $100 regularly begins to shift your mindset from reacting to planning. You start to see money as something you can control, not something that controls you. Most people underestimate the importance of this first stage. They see saving small amounts as insignificant and want to skip straight to investing or earning more. But financial stability is what allows you to take those next steps without fear. If you don't build stability first, every setback, a job loss, a medical bill, a car repair, will reset your progress. That's why this stage matters so much. It's not about how much you earn, it's about how well you manage what you have. True stability isn't about comfort either. It's about creating enough margin to stop living in constant reaction to your finances. The second stage is growth and accumulation. Once you've built stability, your focus shifts from defense to offense, from saving to growing. This is where you begin to invest. The goal here is not just to save money, but to put it to work. You realize that saving alone won't make you wealthy because cash loses value over time due to inflation. The next level of progress comes when you learn to make your money earn for you. At this point, you're contributing to retirement accounts, index funds, or other long-term investments. You're building assets that appreciate and create income, instead of relying only on your paycheck. In this stage, compounding becomes your quiet advantage. You start to see that every contribution builds on the last, and over time, the returns themselves start generating more growth. In the beginning, it's slow. The numbers don't move much, and that's why so many people lose patience here. They invest for a few years, see only small gains, and assume it isn't working. But compounding follows its own timeline. The early years are the setup phase. It's not impressive yet, but it's essential. The true acceleration happens later, often a decade or more down the road, when the returns begin to outpace your own contributions. That's when wealth starts to build faster than you expect. The hardest part of this stage is not the math. It's the discipline. Staying consistent through market swings, inflation, and uncertainty takes patience. Many people panic when their investments dip or get distracted by short-term opportunities that promise faster results. But long-term investing rewards those who stay steady, not those who chase trends. The key is to automate your contributions and avoid emotional decisions. If you invest regularly and leave the money alone, time will do the heavy lifting. Even modest monthly investments can grow into something substantial given enough years. For example, investing $500 a month for 25 years at a 7% return grows to nearly $400,000. Stretch that to 35 years, and it's over $800,000. The principle doesn't change, it just compounds. Many people never fully move past this stage because they mistake visible progress for completion. Seeing a growing balance creates comfort, and comfort often replaces ambition. This is where the middle class typically stops. They have savings, maybe some investments, and a home. Life feels manageable, but the next level of wealth requires shifting focus from accumulation to independence, from working for money to having money work independently of you. That's where stage 3 begins, and it's the point most never reach. Stage 3 is wealth independence. It's when your assets generate enough income to support your life without you needing to trade time for money. This doesn't necessarily mean you stop working. It means you no longer have to. Your investments, businesses, or other income streams produce enough cash flow to cover your lifestyle. It's the stage where financial stress finally fades and freedom replaces worry. Most people dream of reaching this point, but very few actually do because it takes decades of consistency and the right mindset. Wealth independence isn't about a specific number. It's about sustainability. For some, it might mean having a paid-off home, reliable investments, and a few $1,000s of monthly income. For others, it could mean a large, diversified portfolios that produces returns well beyond expenses. What matters is that your wealth continues to grow even when you're not actively adding to it. Reaching this point requires a combination of patience, strategy, and restraint. You can't spend aggressively while trying to reach financial freedom, and you can't panic every time the market dips. The people who reach this stage are the ones who learned to delay gratification and stayed consistent through every financial season. The reason most people never reach this third stage isn't a lack of knowledge. It's impatience and inconsistency. Building wealth takes longer than people expect, and that discourages them. They might start strong, but life gets in the way. Expenses rise, motivation fades, markets fluctuate. The biggest challenge isn't the math, it's emotional endurance. It's staying focused when progress feels invisible. The truth is that wealth builds slowly, then suddenly. For years, it might seem like nothing is happening, but beneath the surface, compounding is at work. When you cross that tipping point, when your returns outpace your contributions, everything accelerates. Each stage of building wealth demands a different mindset. In the first stage, you need discipline and awareness. When you think about wealth in these 3 stages, it becomes clear that each one is less about money and more about mindset. The first stage is about control, learning to live within your means. The second is about growth, learning to let time and consistency do the work. The third is about freedom, learning to manage wealth responsibly and use it to create stability and meaning. Skipping any stage makes the structure unstable. You can't grow if you never built stability, and you can't sustain wealth if you never learned patience. The journey through these stages also reveals something deeper about human behavior. Most people want results faster than the process allows. That's why they get stuck. They expect wealth to come from sudden success rather than steady effort. But the people who reach true financial independence rarely rush. They understand that wealth compounds not only in money but in habits. Every smart decision adds up. Each month of saving, each year of investing, each avoided mistake. Over time, those small decisions separate the financially stable from the financially free. If there's one key takeaway, it's this. Your goal isn't to skip stages, but to master them. Build stability until you can handle surprises without fear. Grow your investments until your returns work harder than you do. Protect your assets until they outlast you. That's the real process of wealth. It's not a secret, it's not luck. It's patience, structure, and discipline applied over time. And even though most people never reach the final stage, anyone can, if they're willing to commit long enough. When you step back and look at the process as a whole, you realize that wealth isn't a destination. It's a system of habits and choices that reinforce each other. The people who master those habits, saving, investing, staying calm, thinking long-term, eventually reach a point where money becomes a background element in life, not a source of constant stress. They move through the stages not by chasing more, but by mastering enough. That's the quiet truth about wealth building. It doesn't happen fast, but it does happen for those who stay the course.